My producer Wendy told me about Theater Asylum early on in the process because she had previously been talking with the people there about producing a play last year for Hollywood Fringe, which of course didn't end up happening. Um, and so she knew the space and she knew the people there. Um, and she showed me photos online and was saying that she was thinking about using this space again. And such a like a beautiful, intimate theater setting. These black box theaters, I love black box theaters. I think that they really make way for a lot of creativity because they're so bare bones and very intimate, which I also love that intimacy between the audience and the performer on stage. Um, and and they're so open to the artists and the artistic process. They have a very great sense of how to work with artists there and how to give us the freedom to produce the pieces that we're interested in producing. And that felt great to me, that they were just so open to anything we wanted to do. And so, yeah, it's been an awesome collaboration so far.
I went to a networking event, which was put on by the Hollywood Fringe, and I immediately felt the passion of Theater Asylum for supporting the Fringe and their long-standing background and commitment to the Fringe. I was impressed with Matthew Quinn and his wife, Bertha. I met them in person, and they were so genuine and devoted to the development of artists that I just thought, I want these people to be in my life as supporters of the arts and as people who resonate with me.
I feel that was so well said. That was pretty much the same as my experience. I think this is our first Fringe, and they were so welcoming and encouraging and excited for us to be part of the Fringe community. And so we just continued with connecting with them deeper.
I first found out about Theater Asylum when we started registering for Fringe Festival this year. They give you a full list of theaters that are available to do your production at, and I messaged Theater Asylum because it was two reasons. First, I heard really good things about them, and their name is Asylum, which is a Batman thing. So I wanted to go with the theme. That's kind of the reason, actually. It's like, ooh, the name kind of matches. That'd be cool. But I also, again, I had heard great things about Theater Asylum based on a couple years ago when I was in Fringe as well. I heard about Theater Asylum. So they were a good choice to go with.
Well, when I first started with, we'll start in 2000, when I was going to do 2020, I was going to the meetings and all that right before COVID really hit, like in the early part of the year, January, February. And I was going to the meeting with Matthew Quinn, but he knows so much and he's so generous with information on how to do Fringe. And it was my first Fringe, and it's, it's daunting. Like, how do you do this? What buttons do you push? Trying to get into like a cockpit of an airplane or a jet, just, well, so he's very comforting, and he has several theaters. So I kind of went and followed his path with the Asylum, and had booked a theater, Asylum C, which is a perfect size for my show. Like, it was a little theater on Santa Monica Boulevard. And but he has so much information and is so organized, and he's so helpful and so friendly. And the Asylum is like a community of fringers where you support each other's work, and you can hear each other's, you can share with each other the process of trying to put a show together. And it's really wonderful, really. I'm going to meetings now online, and we were doing a few in person. And just so helpful.
When did I first learn about Theater Asylum? I went to many Fringe events and just networking. And I met Matthew Quinn, who was just phenomenal and has kind of served as a mentor for me in terms of figuring out how to produce a show, because I had no clue how much work it is, especially since I'm doing it all by myself. So I met Matthew Quinn at one of these many events, and he told me about some of the things that he does. And I just thought it was fantastic. And I've just kind of been, on his coattails ever since, just soaking up the breadcrumbs that he leaves behind.
Yeah, I mean, I heard about Asylum literally through the Fringe website, but then I was looking them up and I was like, oh, like I literally have heard of this theater company before. My mom had heard of them. And I sort of looked at their page. I went and I toured the space at Stephanie Fury, and Matthew Quinn is the main guy I've talked to, and then his partner there, Berta, and they're like true doing it for the love of it theater people and performance people. And that, like LA, I'm like, I feel like anyone who lives in LA, I'm from LA, I grew up here, like there's a lot of people that do a lot of things, to get famous and to like, there's I don't know, there's a lot of bullshit. And Matthew was just really, really nice. Berta's really, really kind. And I was just really struck by, we talked a lot about where I was like, this is a workshop kind of for me. Like it is a show. I take it very seriously, but I'm workshopping all new material. I'm workshopping all new songs. I feel like I'm at kind of the beginning of a process in a lot of ways, and at the end of a process too. And Matt was just so understanding about that and really encouraged me to do it. And I really appreciate that sort of just humble passion for it. It really struck me.
Why I ended up going through Theater Asylum was just, for me, a stroke of great luck. I mean, when you first enter, the Hollywood Fringe Festival process and select your theater, I was just going blind. I just didn't know exactly what kind of what venue I wanted to use. And I looked at what I saw was my potential audience numbers, and I thought Matthew Quinn's Asylum Theater looked like they had the type of black box spaces that would be appropriate for my show. Like 35, 40 seaters. And it turned out to be such a good thing getting connected with Matthew, because I think you know Matthew. He's one of these guys who's in it just for all the right reasons. And in any endeavor, you're so fortunate to get connected with someone like that. And I've felt ever since I got connected with his theater, with Combined Art Form, I felt, he's always on your side. And being a part of his facility and his whole enterprise, it's been so supportive, So like I say, how I got tied up with Asylum Theater was lucky, but it was, I'm very thankful for that stroke of good luck.
Well, I believe they contacted us when we registered for Fringe, and when we went around to sort of shop for venues, as it were. The space they have is just, it seemed really well suited to what we were doing, and it's sort of like the California room that we ended up going with. Just like I walked in there and I was like, oh yeah, this is the kind of space that I kind of envisioned in my mind for the show to take place in already. So that was kind of a light bulb moment. And also just the way they talked about the community they sort of have around Fringe, and how they try to support people with marketing and try to get people to see each other's shows and help each other out. It seemed very collaborative in a way that I think we all liked.
Yeah, I really responded to the non-traditional way that the spaces looked, because we weren't looking for something that was, a proscenium, like regular theater space. So I think that's what we all really took to with the space at Asylum.
Matthew Quinn is the first person I believe I met during one of the town hall meetings for the Fringe, one of the Fringe town hall meetings. And so that's how I found out about Asylum, just through Matt. And to be honest, as I was looking at different spaces to have to do my show, the Stephanie Fury space was the one that called out to me the most, just because it's intimate, and a solo show, they tend to, I think personally they do better in more intimate spaces, and I wanted that intimacy. I wanted to be able to have audience near me and tell them my story. It's such a personal story of mine, and I think because it's so personal, that intimacy became even more important to have. So yeah, that was my thought process in picking that particular space to perform.
The Fringe, I think, is just the best of LA theater, just bringing it all together and trying things for the first time. This year, it's wonderful because I'm working with the Asylum, and I don't feel like I'm alone. 2 years ago when I was producing, I felt very much like every mistake you could make, I made. And self-producing is hard enough. And then the Asylum, and Matt Quinn, just it's like you're with a whole team of people, and all of the years of their collective knowledge of the Fringe you get access to. And so I feel like I'm really moving forward, getting on calendars and putting together great press releases and really getting the word. Obviously you heard about me somewhere, so this interview even, comes out of that process of working with a team of people who know what they're doing and have been doing it for a really long time. And it's been really fun too, to meet all kinds of great people in the theater world. All we're all going to go to each other's shows, and it's been really nice. So I just love this experience. One of the best things that LA has to offer.